Hello friends, my name is Masood. Today we shall discuss about topic identify a stakeholder. Friend, today's topic is very interesting, especially if you have interest in project management or you are planning to give exam of PMP in near future. So let's start. First of all, I would request to please subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell option as well so that my videos can reach to you, and also you can follow me on the Facebook page as well. Friend, identify a stakeholder is basically a process defined in the PMBOK Guide, Project Management Body of Knowledge, which is a book issued by PMI Institute, which is a non-profit based organization. And this institute is basically maintaining or issuing the best practices and industry standards for project management, and a very popular certificate of PMP is also issued by PMI. Now, stakeholder, what is actually a stakeholder? A stakeholder is a person who has interest in a project. Now, interest means that he wants that project should be completed, but here is one very important interesting thing is that stakeholder could be a positive stakeholder or a negative stakeholder as well. Like, he wants that project should be completed or he doesn't want that project should not be completed, and stakeholder has influence in the project or can be influenced by the project outcome. So that means, for example, a stakeholder is a person from like for example, the CEO from the customer side is a stakeholder, CTO from the vendor side is a stakeholder, project manager is a stakeholder, functional manager is a stakeholder, and user is a stakeholder. The operation team from customer side is a stakeholder. So anyone who has interest or can affected by the project implementation could be considered as a stakeholder. Now, the inputs for this process of identify stakeholder is the project charter. Project charter is a document which describes the objectives, scope, high level stakeholders, timelines for the project. So it is a very important document. Whenever you are identifying the stakeholder for a project, you must have to study first the project charter document of a project. Then project management plan. Project management plan includes different set of projects, the project plan, like for example the communication management plan, the stakeholder management plan. So these documents are very important for you to understand and identify the stakeholders. Then enterprise environmental factor means the external factors that can influence the identification of stakeholders, including organizational culture, structure, market conditions, and industry standards. Then organizational process assets means the historical information, lesson learned from previous projects regarding stakeholders. For example, you are implementing e-commerce solution, and in the past you have already done such type of project. So you can review the previous projects and see what were the stakeholders were identified at that time of moment, for example. So this type of information could be helpful for you in your current project. So based on that, you can you can use this information to identify the stakeholders in your project as well. So past information or the historical information is also very important for identification of a stakeholder. Then tools and techniques. First important approach is the stakeholder analysis. Means that the team can sit together in a meeting room, which is called as brainstorming. They basically discuss different ideas, they discuss different thoughts with each other and try to reach some consensus point. And also we can use the mind mapping approach as well to identify potential stakeholders. So based on that, after meeting, we basically categorize the stakeholders based on their level of influence, interest, impact on the project. Then expert judgment means that we can also talk with any expert person who has the domain expertise, like any for example senior project manager, or you can say any consultant as well. So we basically discuss with them, we try to understand what are the possibilities, what are the stakeholders could be for this type of project. Friend, expert judgment is a very important and a very good approach here, because any person who has the domain knowledge, who can tell you that this type of project could have this type of stakeholders. Okay, so you can use this information for your project and to identify the stakeholders as well. Then output. The output of this whole process is the stakeholder register. Friend, stakeholder register is basically a document which contains the identified stakeholders. Generally, it contains the name of the stakeholder, the roles, interest, expectations, potential impact on the project. It may also include a stakeholder classification based on their influence, impact, and relationship with the project as well. So the basic important document which basically we have created after the whole process of the identification of a stakeholder process is the stakeholder register. You can think of this as a Excel sheet in which all this type of particular information related to stakeholder will be mentioned. Then stakeholder management strategy. This document outlines how the project team will engage with stakeholders throughout the project. It includes information on communication, collaboration, and the overall approach to managing stakeholder relationship. Basically, friend, this document tells you the approach which you use for management of a stakeholder, that how will your team will engage with the stakeholders, how will you manage the communication with the stakeholder. Obviously, friend, if you can manage properly, appropriately the communication and collaboration with the stakeholder, obviously it will be a big advantage for you for the success of the project. So this is another document. Then the next is the iterative process. When a stakeholder identification is not a one-time activity, it should be revisited, updated throughout the project lifecycle, and we should update the identification of stakeholders throughout the project based on their roles, interest, and impact on the project. Key consideration. When stakeholders is not necessary that they always be a positive stakeholder could be a negative stakeholder as well. So as being a project manager, we have to identify both stakeholder, positive and negative stakeholders. Communication needs should be clearly defined. We must have to understand what are the communication need of every stakeholder, and based on that you have to make the update the communication management plan as well. Engagement level means that a stakeholder may have very level of interest and influence. Understanding these levels helps tailor communication and engagement strategies as well. So the benefits is that helps ensure that the project team consider and address the needs and expectations of all relevant stakeholders, facilitate the development of a proactive approach to stakeholder management which can contribute to project success. So, friend, this process sets the foundation for successful stakeholder engagement throughout the project lifecycle. It is an ongoing and dynamic activity that requires regular updates as the project progresses and the stakeholder landscape evolves. So, friend, thank you. Thanks a lot for watching the video. I hope you like this video. If you like it, please share it with the friends and colleagues. And thanks a lot for watching.